Okay, so I'm sure you're probably thinking youth entrepreneurship, and no, I'm not talking about the time that you were 8 and you thought you invented cheese fries. I'm talking about lemonade stands. So I'm sure you guys remember having a lemonade stand. Raise your hand if you had one whenever you were a kid. Or maybe you see them in the summer around your neighborhood. The lemonade was too sour, or it was too sweet, and it was grainy because there was so much sugar. But you were performing business. You had your own business, a lemonade stand. So that's the basic example of youth entrepreneurship. So meet Liv, a young entrepreneur herself. She's 11, from New Hampshire. Whenever she was 8, her tech-savvy mom helped her start a blog. Super cool, super fun. She talked about how much she loved reading and sharing literacy. She now has 30,000 followers on Twitter. She now keynotes at international conferences, speaks at elementary schools around the world, and she loves to share her passion. She's an utterly powerful example of a young entrepreneur, and officially more accomplished than most people in this room. This is Colin Warham. He started his own business whenever he was 16. Currently, he's a freshman at Marion University. He won an entrepreneurial contest with his business idea of Educate. He made educational games for educators, and he won over 20 grand in this entrepreneurial contest. He continued with his business, and now he uses it to pay for his college. He's currently a freshman at Marion University. And this is me, Bailee Wilson. I started my own nonprofit called Texas Teens Teach when I was 15. Basically, we teach interactive courses to low-income libraries across the DFW area. I was inspired by inspirational people called Malala Yousafzai and girls who empower other girls with education, because I realized most people in the world don't have access to the opportunities that I'm given. So I wanted to make an impact in my community and share the educational opportunities that I receive. First, they all want to make a difference in their community, including myself. Liv wanted to share literacy and her love for reading. Colin wanted to share his passion for financial literacy as well. And I wanted to share my passion of making sure that everybody has access to an enjoyable education. Generation Z, my generation, anyone born between 1995 and 2012. Common among Generation Zers is that everyone wants to make an impact, and this has resulted into youth entrepreneurs wanting to make a difference, which is something that we all share. So the lemonade stand is no longer the moneymaker. It's now the change maker. The second thing that all these young entrepreneurs have in common is the development of self-confidence, embracement of their own individuality, including myself. I've been able to speak at other conferences, and Liv herself has keynoted at an international conference. In fact, just last week, she spoke in Toronto. And Colin is able to come out of his shell, and as well as Liv. I was once really shy, and now I'm no longer shy. I'm very outgoing. So with that, entrepreneurship can be a tool to empower young adults and children to develop self-esteem. Did you know that over 85% of the population is victim to low self-esteem? But what if we use youth entrepreneurship to empower people to develop their own individuality and self-esteem and to grow confidence in themselves? So we normally don't think about entrepreneurship in the way that it gives kids confidence. But having kids interact with entrepreneurship, developing their own nonprofits, and embracing their own inventions and businesses is absolutely powerful. We often underestimate that. Whenever I was a kid, I used to watch the Disney Channel, and there would be these commercials that would come on, and these kids would have inventions, businesses, and apps and things, and I always thought they were geniuses and savants, and I didn't realize that I could do that myself, and every kid can, and that's the truth. So lastly, and most importantly, the thing that all these kids had in common, and every young entrepreneur, is the creativity and originality that comes from each of these ideas. Young kids are so powerful in their ideas. They aren't stopped by society's standards yet. They're young and creative. And so often we underestimate that. Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." So what if we encourage these young kids to pursue their imaginative, innovative ideas and the ingenuity, and we realize how powerful their ideas are, and we encourage them to start their own businesses, nonprofits, and to, their inventions? It would change our economy, our society, how we teach kids. Sometimes starting a business or nonprofit is not for everybody, and there's nothing wrong with that. But investing in these ideas is utterly powerful. And it doesn't mean that you have to start it yourself or be an entrepreneur, but you can easily become a part of these organizations and support young people, whether you're an educator, a parent, or a consumer. Encouraging these kids to think outside the box can change our society. When you invest in the young people, you invest in the future of today. Who knows, maybe your kid might start a nonprofit or a business, or maybe an 8-year-old will cure cancer someday. All I know is that young people are our future, and we should invest in their thinking and their ideas. So next time you see a lemonade stand, stop by, talk to the kid, encourage them. Maybe they want to start a restaurant someday. Maybe they want to start a lemonade stand chain. Who knows? But maybe buy that lemonade glass and just encourage them. Thank you so much.